Wesley Yang highlighting the Washington Post. Actually, we'll go for this one. We got to talk about this. So Washington Post is on the verge of collapse. The boss sounds an alarm over dwindling audience and heated staff meeting. People are not reading your stuff. Let's not sugarcoat it. We are losing large amounts of money. Congratulations, Bezos. And so Wesley Yang says, it is a major inflection point a decade into the great awakening in media. Vice and BuzzFeed went bankrupt rather than attempt what WAPO's new editor is attempting, because the cost of pushing back internally was always perceived as greater to them as individuals than going along until total failure. We'll see whether all the cowards were right and whether it's even possible to do a turnaround. There was a story recently from Free Press, Barry Weiss's publication. A guy who worked, what is his name? Brian Moynihan, maybe? I'm not sure. He worked for Vice. He was it who it is?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
One of their hosts.
Or at least I'm familiar with the name. So.
And I'm not sure if I was there when he was there. I might have been. But he was mentioning basically what happens is, as Vice hires more and more of these young woke people, they had to take down their own magazine covers off the wall. Vice had a wall in their office with all of their magazine covers. One of them said, "We Heart Cops," and had a cop on it. And it was meant to be tongue-in-cheek. And the employees complained. And so Vice, because they're cowards, were like, okay, we'll take it all down. We'll take it all down. It is remarkable. I cannot believe Shane Smith was so weak. Like, I've met the guy. I've known the guy. It's not like I've known him well or anything. But he always came off as kind of just like I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it done. Get out of my way kind of guy. And then the moment some whiny, whinging, woke millennial showed up, he dropped to his knees and begged them and got ousted from his own company. And I think the issue is Wesley Yang nails it. These people were so much more worried about what people would say about them as individuals. They decided the best course of action was strip as much resources out of the company as you can, agree with the mob, and disappear. That's what I think we're seeing across the board in all institutions, in politics especially. What we see with Vice is a great example of it. Vice was edgy, shocking, and offensive. And then a couple woke millennials got in and they said, sell off the stock and jump ship. Because they didn't want to be perceived as bigots or something, I guess.
There's a very simple formula to covering news that people actually click on, which is, so it'll be interesting to see what Washington Post does after this statement, because it's not like these people don't know what they could cover, what would go viral. It's very clear. Like, the Telegraph covered the COVID cause of excess deaths. That article probably got insane traffic because it was first time, mainstream media coming out and acknowledging that. It's like there's very obvious topics that you cover to create traffic. How do these people not understand?
But it's obvious the woke stuff doesn't work.
Right.
The issue is that the CEOs were like, hey, we're losing money and the woke stuff doesn't play, but we're scared of our employees because they're going to call us mean words. So they burned their own companies to the ground. I mean, look, this is hilarious. The dude comes out for Washington Post and says, we're losing money. And they actually said, have you tried hiring black women? Not kidding. And then he was like, I'm going to bring in guys I know who can make this work. And then they responded with, you just hired 3 white guys. Fire them all. You know what? You deserve it. I'm happy it's happening. Could not happen to better people. They want to hire based on ideology instead of meritocracy, and then your company burns to the ground. Now Vivek is buying BuzzFeed. You saw this, right? He's got like
a stake.
Mm-hmm.
A significant stake.
He keeps buying more and more, apparently.
He surpassed 8. I haven't checked this week where he is, but it's just climbing and climbing. He said no plans to stop.
He's going to buy out the whole company? Yo, that's wild, because I don't know if there's anything at BuzzFeed worth salvaging.
But he's saying, I mean, this is what's interesting. His letter to BuzzFeed was like, you need to steer the ship in a different direction. You need to hire Candace Owens. You need to hire Aaron Rodgers. Like, you need to have the other side on here. And basically, because he has the cash to do it, he can potentially have a voice at the table that just the readership of BuzzFeed wouldn't have, which is another fascinating aspect of all of this. Like, the Washington Post, BuzzFeed, at a certain point, they're going to listen to who's in their staff room. Yes, but they're also going to say, like, hey, boardroom, do you guys all feel this way? Okay, that's what we're doing. It's not actually about the readers. It's about their own perspective on the world.
I think what Vivek is doing is an institutional attack on BuzzFeed, because BuzzFeed does not have, I could be wrong, I'd love to talk to Vivek about this. I don't see BuzzFeed as having the assets worthy of buying out and fighting for. It's a failing company. Their stock is at what, a couple bucks?
Yeah.
It's garbage. Their market cap is 120 million or whatever, down from $1 billion, 90+% drop off from what their market cap was. You'd be better off taking like the amount of money Vivek is putting in.
Start a new brand. Yeah.
Yeah, $10 million.
Yeah.
$10 million. Holy crap. The things you could do with that. Now, to be fair,
Get them involved with Scanner.
look, I suppose the argument is BuzzFeed is established and it does have readership. And so you want to just buy that out instead of building something new. It's not easy to build something new. Fair point. Fair point. $10 million goes a long way, though. And you could easily turn that into something substantially more valuable if you were to build your own brand. I think what his intention is to de-wokeify an institution.
Is there
using money?
What would you consider the best example of, formerly mainstream woke pivoting and coming back to reality? Is there an
Libertarian
example?
Party.
Okay, but in
you were talking about
terms of a
publishing?
media publication,
Oh, none. What do you mean?
none. Yeah, no, I'm just asking if there's any example like.
I think the only example that we know of in modern history was the Reno Reset at the Libertarian Party when the Mises Caucus took over in 2022. Now, they did, and they won again, and Angela McArdle won her election again, but for a lot of reasons, they nominated Chase Oliver because, just the war's not just done overnight. But this is one thing a lot of people were talking about at the convention is that this is one of the only institutions we've seen actually de-wokeify. They took over. Yeah. And there's still some cleaning up to do. If Dave Smith ran, he would have won the nomination easily, but he didn't. So you end up with politicking backroom deals, and then the worst candidate gets chosen. But they still, for the most part, de-wokeified the core of the institution, and the people who are running the Libertarian Party are anti-woke.
So potentially, if Ramaswamy were to be able to steer the ship back towards, drifting farther and farther left for BuzzFeed, it would be a pretty symbolic win of sort of, nature healing itself, at least coming back towards center.
Dude, I'd say buy Vice, but like you're better off just starting your own thing. So I can really break down for you where Vice went wrong. And it was they had an article that was titled something like, "This horrible app can show you what women look like topless." It was an AI app where if you took a picture of a woman, it would algorithmically generate an image of them topless. It would generate an image of their boobs. It wouldn't really be them. And I was talking to some guys at Vice, and I was like, guys, you wrote that article. I'm like, do you know what the article would have been titled in 2010? "This amazing app can show you what women look like topless." Because Vice was intentionally trying to be shocking and punk rock. Now you're a bunch of whinging losers who are pissed off all the time. You went from being the kid in the back of the classroom with the leather jacket on shooting spitballs to the kid at the front of the class pushing his glass up complaining to the teacher that someone's shooting spitballs at him. I was like, overnight you turned into that. You were the bad boys, and now you're the whiny, preppy losers.
Is the whole news division shut down now?
Advice?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's
completely
gone.
Is the website up? Are the old articles? I mean,
I think Vice.com is gone. Let's see. Oh, no. Looks like, wait.
there's a handful.
Yeah, no, they're still publishing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I thought they effectively shut it all down. They still got some stuff up there.
If they reached out to you and said, Tim, help us.
Oh, I'd say I'll buy the company off. You'll give you $100,000 for it. Like, what's the value? So the thing is, Vice still produces stuff for TV. Right. So they still make money. And their cable channel, this is the best part. It's very smart as to why they got a cable channel, because it's a guaranteed contract. When they bring your cable channel in, they're basically saying, we will give you X amount of dollars for X amount of years. So they're like, okay, we got revenue. Mm-hmm. So Vice still makes money, it still does stuff, but it's like it's worthless and irrelevant to the average person. Man, isn't that crazy? They lost all their relevance among millennials. They have no relevance among Gen Z. They are just does anybody actually watch Vice anymore?
I imagine no.
They still some of their YouTube videos get pretty good traction still. Some of the newer ones.
They actually have YouTube videos?
Yeah. Yeah, they do. What's the Washington Post head's name?
Oh, yeah, look at this. Yeah. Vice, they still post videos.
Yeah, they get decent views.
A couple 100,000.
Yeah.
What do they post, like a couple times a week, maybe? Sad. So sad, man.
But I mean, the Washington Post guys should reach out.
They got
it
a big one a couple weeks ago.
I would imagine some of these corporate media executives want help, you know, and like they might be willing to start covering reality. I mean, it seems like, why is this guy making these public statements like this if he's not sort of like asking for help? It seems like he's making a cry for help. So, you know,
well, I mean,
he
it's
should
public
reach
to the
out.
staff, right? Like his nobody's reading this was reportedly said, and I could be wrong, but in a staff meeting. So
Right.
he is
But he knows
publicly saying it internally. I guess he knows there's a chance it could get leaked. I mean, it would just be interesting if there is, you know, if we see a star reporter rise to the ranks of Washington Post who kind of is saying, I always wanted to cover this stuff and now I could, and now I couldn't before, but now I can. It really, I think, depends on to a certain point, like what the writing room is willing to cook up in terms of steering the ship.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.